more time.
I didn't hear what you said.
Thomas is always like, I can't hear you. And I'm like, can you not hear me or are you not listening? He's like, you just are so soft-spoken. I was like, I don't think so.
I only think you're soft-spoken when you want to be. But today's not one of those days. We have a special guest in the Emily Crampsey recording studio. I guess it's the Thick AF recording,
recording studio.
It is my baby child sister.
So, welcome to the Thick AF podcast.
Gerri Marie.
Gerri Marie is here with us.
We had this discussion about my full name, and you just released it to the wild.
You don't like it?
You released it to
We
the
can
wild.
take it out if you want. But
No,
Gerri Marie, I was going to say that it
fine.
kind of sounds like a porn star's name. Or not a porn star, or like somebody famous.
Like Alexis Texas?
No, that's like a stripper name. A porn star, like
porn star.
Gerri Marie, like Anna Nicole.
Oh,
It's like Geraldine something.
bummer.
You know what? I always forget that your name is Geraldine, isn't it?
No, it's
Oh,
just
it's not just Gerri because
That's
there
why I
I
said
know
bummer.
a lot of people Gerri, but like Geraldine and Marie are kind of like old lady
Geraldine
names.
Marie. That's
Gerri's
a lot.
That it would be a lot mouthful.
Geraldine Marie. I wonder what is our friend Geraldine's middle name?
I do not know.
I don't know if I ever found out. Huh?
You want me to phone a friend and find out real quick?
No.
Why
it's
don't you
okay.
phone your Facebook?
It's
something?
probably
It's not on
something
there.
really long. Like, she
Geraldine
probably has two
Anastasia.
middle names too. Yeah. Yeah. So, welcome, Gerri Marie, porn star.
Thank you for having me.
We're excited to have you.
Yeah. Woo woo. Cheers, everybody.
I know.
So, what's going on? Why are you in town? Were you sharing that information?
Oh, I am in town because our father just had a
Father?
hip replacement.
That is an aggressive word.
And, they've got a lot of things they need help with out at the house.
Yeah. So
They have horses.
Charles had a hip replacement on Monday, and he is back at home now. But yeah, they got dogs and horses and all that jazz. So Gerri and I are essentially the farm duty girls for the week.
Yes.
So
Shoveling shit every morning.
Y'all don't
7
look
a.m.
like shoveling type of girls.
Listen,
that is a compliment. Thank you.
Yeah, but we like I spent my first year of college living with them, shoveling shit every single day as my
You
rent.
shoveled shit your freshman year of college?
Every single day.
I was living there too.
That was my chore.
Sarah's like, I don't know, I'll still sleep.
Yeah. You worked and went to night school, so you weren't around.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had a boyfriend, so I wasn't there a whole lot.
Well, so that's not really fair. Just because you go to night school, and have a boyfriend doesn't mean you don't get to shovel, you know what.
Well, I had also lived down here for like a year by myself and helped with all that. I helped build the damn fence that fences the horses. But also, I am now the sole like out of town house sitting person, and I have shoveled shit many times, and Gerri hadn't had to do it in a minute.
Listen, I do it every day for all 4 of my animals. It's just
Not
not that
the
big.
same.
Until the fall, I had to walk my dogs every day, pick up that shit, and my dogs are still larger than all yours combined.
Wait, what kind of dogs do you have?
Well, I guess dog. I mean, my dogs, I had 2 black labs. Now I just have 1, but she's a big girl. And now she's found on the side of the road in Mobile. And I adopted her when I was living in Atlanta, and then moved back to Mobile. So brought her to Mobile, back to her home. And then I moved in with my boyfriend, and he has 2 dogs. So now I have 3 dogs.
Ooh.
But now we have a yard, so I don't have to pick up shit every day, but you still got to pick it up.
Yeah, but they also have a really great contraption for the dog shit.
No, let's not advertise this because it's not.
Is it one of those things that's like a diaper genie?
It's
In the ground.
dog poop septic tank.
What?
And you buy this contraption, and you buy these tablets that are digester tablets, and you dig this big ass hole in your yard, and then you I guess, cover to the top of it, and you stick this thing in it that like is a lid that opens and closes. Mm-hmm. So you open it and you put your shit in it, and you put a digester tablet in it. I don't know, maybe like once a week.
Oh, okay.
And it's supposed to be like a septic tank, basically, and it digests dog poop back into like the ground.
Does it work?
Well, when you have 3 dogs and you have the size of a hole that was dug, it is not efficient. And you're also supposed to put water in it, and now it's kind of just like this watery dog.
Poop.
Yeah.
Oh, gross. I didn't
like
know
soupy
that.
Poopy, soupy poopy.
Ew.
Or poopy soupy.
And I mean, now it like legitimately isn't going anywhere.
Oh, shit.
And we haven't
Literally.
we haven't put anything in it in a long time because we knew it wasn't working.
Even the digestion tablets are not working
It's
anymore?
not enough. The hole's not big enough.
Oh, jeez.
So, yeah.
Yeah, who came up with that?
So you have a literal shithole in your backyard.
We have a shell in the backyard. And, I mean,
If I thought it was acceptable to put on Instagram, I'd take a picture of it and post it, but that's not going to happen.
No.
I don't even want to
I
go
haven't
anywhere
checked
near
it in a while. Like, I don't know. It might have gone down, but I don't think once it goes down, we're going to continue to use it.
Does it smell bad in the summertime?
No.
Okay, well, that's good because I have like a little trash can out here, and if you go outside, don't go out there because right now the trash doesn't come till Thursday, and I have 3 dogs, and then sometimes other people's dogs come back here and poop, and they don't clean it up, so I like pick it up, and I'm like, did I miss my dog
Don't you
poop?
need to be reporting that to the HOA?
I was on the HOA, but I quit like yesterday.
Well, at my old place I
still
lived.
wish. You know, part of me wants to like push the envelope a little bit and just get us like a cease and desist so we can like talk shit about it on the podcast and just see what the fuck happens. But like,
Wait, do
that's
they
not
listen
good
to
for
the
you.
podcast?
Well,
Members
some people
of
around
the-
here do. Yeah.
Well-
Like people at the pool have stopped me and been like, I was listening to the pod. And I'm like, oh, God.
So at my old apartment complex, we had this issue, and they sent out notices that everybody had to have their dog brought in for DNA testing. And they
Did they pay for it?
Yeah, they paid for it. They swabbed the inside of your dog's
Wow,
mouth.
that is
they
so
sent it
wrong.
into a company, and you got a tag, and it created a profile for your animal. But if they found any
Pit or anything like
any
that?
poop, yeah, that
No,
somebody.
not
Oh, wait, the poop?
Yes,
Any
it's
poop.
poop.
Wait, they
grits.
DNA'd the poop?
Yes,
They
so
did
if they
that at
found
my
any
apartment.
poop,
No.
Yes,
then
they
they
did.
would test it and they'd send it off. And if it was a match to your dog, then you got fined.
What fancy apartment were you living at that had the
But
money to
here's-
do
But
that?
here's the thing, though.
I'm shocked by it.
Listen,
That's
my
too much.
apartment complex did that. Greta had to do that. It was like 2 or 3 owners ago at my complex. They called it poo prints, and they did that. And if your first infraction was $100, your second was $200, the third was $300,
You got kicked
and then
out.
you got kicked out.
No, I think our third was maybe even the second you got kicked out.
But here's my
They didn't
problem
mess
with that.
around.
If you got any Karen that wants to fuck with you,
Oh, yeah.
then
They could
all
go
that's going to
watch
happen
you throw
is they could watch you throw your dog shit away, and then they could bring it in that same bag to the office. Mm-hmm. And that's some bullshit.
I think that first of all, that is like a violation of privacy.
It was pretty wild.
That's really messed up.
I mean, I took care of my dogs and cleaned up after them, so I didn't care.
I did
But
too.
then I was worried sometimes when I would go out of town if I had someone house sitting and would take my dogs out because you
that's
have
so
to
fair.
walk them.
Yeah.
I would get nervous that they might not like pick up after them, and then I was
oh my
going to get in
gosh,
trouble.
that's so true.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
I didn't either.
It didn't
That's so
happen.
terrible.
At least you had a dog park. Like, we didn't have that.
Yeah, and I don't know if they were like monitoring the dog park or whatever, but I mean, I was very lucky and have never really had to do anything with Greta or now with Jolene. I had somebody come walk Jolene when we went to Atlanta for Giggly Squad, and that was it.
Shout out Paige and Hannah.
I know.
Yeah,
had
we did
fun.
go. I'd never like really listened to them or anything until we went to that. And you're
Yeah.
like, Giggly Squad, we're going to see Giggly Squad. And I'm like, what the hell is Giggly
God,
Squad?
I'm a-
And that was a shit show of a damn night.
I thought it was fun.
I mean, I had fun. It was just a long night, and it thought
We
it
actually
was gonna
talked
be.
about that today. So Sara texts me and it's like, hey, we're going to go to Trader Joe's and get this pizza. What kind of are you okay with this type of pizza? And I was like, yeah, you always pick out good food, so I'm good with that. And then I was like, wait a minute, just kidding. There was this one time when you ordered this pizza. What was it called?
It was I don't know what the place was called or what the pizza was called. But we went to some restaurant before and it was an Italian place and we got this pizza that was like a white pizza and had gorgonzola on it. You would have thought that I don't even know where gorgonzola
It was like the strongest gorgonzola you've ever had.
500 pounds of gorgonzola and put it all on the pizza instead of just like little
tasted
sprinkles.
So bad.
It was just like it was so overwhelming.
Strong. Yeah, it was like a lot. We couldn't eat it. We had to order another pizza to go.
We ordered a cheese pizza to go. And then Santana's
You went back to the cheese? You didn't even try to, like, get type of topping to help with the flavor?
It had prosciutto or something on it. And, like, it had other stuff. There was,
Oh, so that was back in your not pepperoni days.
Yeah, so we ordered
cheese
eats
pepperoni
pizza.
Now?
Apparently.
No, girl, it's just that one hot honey that we got
I don't
at the
eat
store.
pepperoni either.
No, we're cheese pizza
We
eaters
eat cheese
through and
pizza.
through.
And it's not because of Sarah, and she doesn't eat it because of
No.
me. That's what we like.
Yo,
But
pizza.
so we ordered a cheese pizza to go because I was like, we didn't eat very much at dinner because we didn't eat our fucking pizza. And I was like, I'm going to be hungry after this. We're on our way home. And at one point, and finally, I figure out Santana's sat in the front seat. And
No. She asked for the pizza, and you handed it to her at one point. And then we stopped to get lottery tickets, and I kept winning. And so I was in and out.
Like scratch offs?
Yeah, scratch offs. I kept winning like 10.
Yeah.
I went like 10 times, and they were like, "No more." And by the time I was done with all the scratch offs, Santana had eaten her entire pizza.
Damn.
I was so mad.
She was really pissed. Like, she was like, "What the hell,
We
Santana?"
were sitting at a gas station at a pump because Aaron needed to get gas. I went in and peed. I tried to buy beer. Apparently, it was too late for that. You can buy lottery tickets at any damn hour, but I can't get me a big gulp of Truly or anything like that for the damn ride home.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, because
One
they
of
knew
those
we was probably not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
It was a Saturday night.
One of those you win money.
Or was it?
One of
It was
those.
Friday.
It was Friday.
Yeah, that's some bullshit.
Well, and we don't get so for everybody else that doesn't know this, we live in Alabama and we don't have the lottery here. And
Boo.
it's so sad. So, like, anytime you go to Georgia, you're like, yeah, lottery tickets. You know?
Literally, you know how someone in California just won that $1 billion
Yes.
Powerball or Mega Million? Yeah. We almost drove to Mississippi just to buy some tickets.
You can't get it in Florida?
Well, Mississippi's technically a little closer on that side where I live.
Really?
How far is it for you?
I mean, maybe like 30 minutes.
Oh, wow. Oh, my
I
God.
didn't
I'm so
realize
jealous.
that.
They used to be like that when I lived in Auburn. I could drive like.
Yeah. You go to exit 2.
Yeah.
Go to Frisky. Whiskey.
Frisky whiskey. Yeah,
Yes.
they have cheap alcohol too.
Yeah, I used to go during college and we'd get in lines to buy lottery
The very
tickets there.
first time that I ever bought Gerri alcohol when I was 21 and she wasn't, they made us go to the Big Rat gas station.
Big Cat.
Whatever. It looks like a rat.
Big rat.
And it's the one.
Where is this? Here?
Opelika Road in Auburn.
Oh, in Auburn. Wait, is
it's
it
the
still
one
there?
where-
I don't know,
I
but
don't
it's called
know.
the Big Cat. It's not the Big Rat.
It's right next to the road that takes you to Kroger.
Yeah, like on Dean Road. I used to live on Dean.
It's on Opelika Road.
But anyways, it has a gas station on one side and a liquor store on the other.
Oh, that one. It's right there. Yes, it's still called Big Cat. It used to be
Yes.
across from where, like, where the bowling alley is.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
It's
I go in
kinda
there and they
sketchy.
want. It's what?
Kind of sketchy. I mean,
Oh,
it's
so
not
you
that
made
bad.
me go into a sketchy gas
It's
Right
the
by
gas
the railroad
station we
tracks.
all went into.
So, needless to say, do you want to know what their request was? Do you remember what it was?
What was it?
I know where you're going with this, but I don't remember the alcohol request.
It was vodka.
Okay, because
And what was the mixer?
Grape Cup.
I love Diet
So-
Greggy Pico.
No, so listen. After I buy this
And
for
Peach
them,
Knee High.
I think we went to like one frat party for like a little bit, and then we went back. The guy she was dating at the time lived at Creekside, and we like hung out there. And that 2-liter of Grey Pico rolled around in the back of
Oh, you
my
got a
Honda
whole
Civic
2-liter?
for months after that. And finally, I had to get it out. It was never open, and it went straight in the trash.
Wait, so what did you drink? Just straight vodka?
I have no idea.
I don't know what I don't even know what I drank.
I don't remember.
Well, that's good. Good night. That's a
Pretty
good
sure
night in
that-
Auburn.
I'm pretty sure that was the time we had the goat.
Like an actual goat? Did y'all steal a goat? Y'all stole a goat.
Not us.
The fraternity party we went to was like a
farm party.
Yeah, like a hoedown type party. They had like hay bales in the house.
So it was like a KA.
Different fraternity.
Yeah, different.
But they went to a farm and asked this guy when they saw these goats on the side of the road if they could borrow one. So they took a baby goat for the weekend.
Borrowed the baby goat for free.
They brought it back.
And that same night at that same party, there was a girl there that was singing, and she was a former stripper at the Fuzzy Duck in Gadsden.
What?
I made friends with her in the bathroom.
There was a strip club in Gadsden called the Fuzzy Duck?
Yes. Connie can confirm.
I wonder why it's called a duck. Is that kind of like a hairy vagina?
Girl,
Damn.
I was not going to
Like
go
a
there.
fuzzy duck. Oh, y'all. What'd you say? The what?
Like a beaver.
A beaver. Yeah. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I'm trying.
Are you trying to Google and see if it ever existed?
No.
Was this the same lead singer lady that was a Playboy
Yes.
in Playboy?
Yes.
I remember this.
I can't remember
what
what her
was
name
her
was, like
band?
Gemma or some shit like that.
That's like my name, but with a G. It's our names mixed together.
It is.
Without the Ali. Okay, so we're gonna cut the chit chat and get into the FMK.
Yeah.
All right, are y'all ready for this?
I'm
All right,
nervous.
so we're doing infamous cult leaders. Number 1, Charles Manson. Number 2, well, and everybody knows who Charles Manson is. Number 2, David Koresh, and he is the guy that was a leader of the Waco. I don't know if y'all saw those documentaries or whatnot.
I don't know much about it, if I'm being honest.
I've seen several of the like documentaries.
I watched the scripted one, I think.
Oh, a scripted one.
Oh, yes.
Good stuff. Okay, and then number 3, Warren Jeffs, and he was the one that was like the keep sweet, pray, and obey, which I'm gonna need y'all to like refresh my memory on him.
I can. Oh, he, I mean, I have a whole spiel.
That's the title of the documentary.
Yeah.
The
Why don't-
Title, yeah, he was a fundamentalist for the LDS, basically.
Okay, so you just do your FMK and explain why, and so then
Well,
that'll help me
can
understand
I admit
which
something?
one.
You said everyone knows who Charles Manson is. I know who he is, but I don't know much about like his. My sister's looking at me like I'm a crazy. I don't.
Have you
can
not
tell
been
me what
reading the
he did?
news? Do you not see the lady that just got let out of jail? One of his followers.
No,
Yeah, he has like
I
a
don't
bunch of
have the
followers.
news. Remember?
So Charles Manson was a cult leader. I forgot what his cult was called, but he basically like
Is
murdered
he the
people.
Kool-Aid guy?
No.
Kool-Aid guy.
That
Is there
was
a
in
cult guy with Kool-Aid?
Jonestown.
Oh.
Oh, I think that's the one I was listening to when y'all came in.
All right, Gerri, you said you have opinions. I'm going to let you go first.
All right. I mean, we're not marrying anyone. But I will say.
You have to choose, though.
I will say that 2 of these people did murder people. And one of them hasn't technically murdered anyone.
So which one? So David Koresh didn't murder anybody, right?
No. He
Yeah,
Is he the one
did.
that did murder people?
Yeah.
he was part of the what is it called? They had like a showdown with the police.
Waco.
Like there was a massacre.
Oh, I didn't know he murdered anybody.
Yeah, he was.
Children died in a fire.
Well, he
He
was
was-
just technically, in his opinion, was protecting his family.
Okay, well, they also like had an artillery of
They did.
weapons that
Yeah.
they chose to amass in case anything like that happened, so that they were well equipped to defend themselves, which meant murdering people.
That's true. So, okay, so we're saying that Warren Jeffs didn't murder anybody.
Warren Jeffs,
Correct.
So I don't know much
from
about
my
him.
understanding, has not murdered anyone. I mean, Charles Manson, that's a given.
No, I can talk about Warren Jeffs in a little bit. So
He's an old, disgusting white man.
Yeah, he looks disgusting, like more like a pervert. Like he would probably kill you.
Yes.
And then have sex with your corpse.
So I think I would
I'm
just
like, look at his face in that picture. This one right here.
I mean, the other 2 are just not like viable options, you know.
nothing
Like,
is a viable option.
I think I'm just gonna. They're all getting killed.
I agree with that.
Okay, but so I'm going to choose because this is how Fuck, Marry, Kill goes, and we just have to choose. Okay, so
Okay.
if I had to choose, I would kill Warren Jeffs. I don't care that he hasn't killed anybody. He's really freaky and looks really crazy. I would fuck Charles Manson, and then I would marry David Koresh, because I feel like I would be able to get away from David Koresh. Charles Manson, I don't feel like I could get away from him. He seemed a little crazier.
Yeah.
And Warren Jeffs, like, I just can't even look at his face. He's just really creepy looking.
Warren Jeffs would, be like banging his like offspring at some levels. So like that's
so did David Koresh, didn't he? I think.
Yes, David Koresh was also like having sex with
children,
not the people he brought his wife into this whole thing, like, and then made himself the leader of it, and like that he was the prophet, and all these people followed him, and he like brainwashed the shit out of her. And Charles Manson is just fucking nuts.
If we're going by attractiveness, though, let me go back and look at. Okay, so I'm looking at some images. Charles Manson, in my opinion,
looks psychotic.
Yeah, but he still looks better than David Koresh. Has like a mullet, and I know that mullets are apparently in nowadays, but not with the females. They're only in with the dudes. Like dudes like a mullet, and I'm sorry.
I don't know. Like David Koresh looks more normal.
Sort of, but
I feel like, okay, I'm going to pick.
That's
now.
why I said I would marry him, but
that's true.
All right, well, I'm going to pick now.
Okay. that kind of made it like normal.
Well,
normal.
I am going to marry Charles Manson. Just
What?
because he's like living in Hollywood, rubbing elbows with
Okay.
famous people. So
Probably
why
getting that
not?
money.
Maybe I'll make some friends. Who knows?
That he'll want to murder.
Well,
Yeah, and then he'll tell you to go murder them, and
Yeah,
you'll be like,
and then
okay,
you will.
Okay, what's his name? Charlie. Okay, Charlie, I do whatever you say.
I don't know about
And
that.
well, I'm a sucking you know what? I don't know. I feel like that's what girls did back then for him.
And
they
then
would like
you
suck it
be
and murder somebody at the
living
same
in
time.
jail for the rest of your life.
Yeah. And then we'd be talking about you like the crazy lady that just got out of jail
Yes.
because you were his follower.
Well, fine. Then I'm marrying Warren Jeffs. I'm not marrying that other guy.
No,
All right,
don't
Warren
marry
Jeff-
Warren
Why? You
Jeffs.
can get away from him after a
Yeah,
minute.
you could, because Warren Jeffs had like 80 wives.
Oh yeah,
basically.
they ain't keeping track of all of you.
Okay, see, I don't know much about. I need to watch like a thing about him.
I can talk about it. Do we want to
Okay.
transition into
Yeah,
that?
transition
Okay.
into him. Yeah.
All right.
Wait,
so,
but Gerri, you never answered. Are you going to answer?
Okay. I think I'd kill Charles Manson because he's just so fucked up in the head, And David Koresh, maybe I'd marry him too.
I think, yeah.
Wait, that means I gotta fuck.
Yeah, the weird dude
Yeah.
that probably has STDs. Yeah.
No, okay. Shit.
you could have a sexless marriage.
See, this is so hard. This is a good one.
Okay, maybe I'm marrying Warren.
See, it's not that bad of an
Two.
idea.
He's got so many wives that you could just like walk away and he
Well,
wouldn't
also,
know.
you can't have
Wouldn't he,
sex with
though?
80 people in one day.
He's also old
you're
as
gonna
shit,
have a
so he's
break.
probably not having that much sex. Like Hugh Hefner style, where like they didn't really have sex.
I think they did. Have you watched the documentary about the Playboy stuff?
I've seen part of it.
It's really
I have.
crazy.
It's wild.
Yeah.
But that was also over a span of many
Yeah.
years.
He probably got old and couldn't get it up anymore. But
Exactly.
I'm sure he had Viagra and things. And then you had to do it like a lot longer because it was like fake erection.
Sick.
For like
Gross.
hours.
I remember hearing something. I don't know if it was like an audio part of like Holly Madison's book,
I love her.
or I
She's
do
so
too.
cute.
Or if it was part of this documentary, but and girls talking about it. I think it might have been where I started it, and they were talking about like how every night was movie night, and they would like go
Yes.
into his room,
Yes.
lay in his bed,
That was-
and then you had to like stay after.
Yes.
So he would like pick someone maybe to stay after, or like multiple people.
Well, he would tell people to go to the room, or he would send his girls like his girlfriend, to go out and pick girls from the party or whatever to come in and hang out with them. And then it turned into like a crazy sex party with like wild toys and whatever he was doing.
Maybe I'm thinking of from like the Girls Next Door show.
I loved that show too.
I
And
did
it made me,
too.
I wanted, honestly, before I knew all this stuff,
they
thought
romanticized the fuck out of
Yeah.
it.
I was
Absolutely.
like, if I ever did anything like that, I would be on Playboy because it's like classy.
No.
They made you think that like it was the good thing.
Absolutely.
And that they took care, and those girls on their show, they made it, they were so normal seeming and they were sweet.
But that's how you keep the veil
Exactly.
on things.
So messed up.
Absolutely.
See, these cult leaders, like Hugh Hefner, I would say that's a cult.
I would say that's fair enough.
I mean, if like nowadays when you really look back at stuff, like it was fucked up.
I mean,
he had so much control all of
absolutely. They
over
couldn't
all those
go
women.
anywhere without him knowing where they were going. They couldn't.
They didn't get
order
enough
food.
money.
Yeah,
Like,
they
Yeah,
didn't
they
have
didn't have like
money.
financial
They had-
independence.
Yeah, they couldn't leave. because
Kendra
they didn't
was
have
like
enough
a teenager. She was like 18 or 19
Yeah.
when she started living there.
She's hilarious. My mom
she
was
is.
the first person that got me on that Girls Next Door TV show. She loved it. And I was surprised that she was like, Emily, you should watch this. It's so cute. Because I was like, she wants me to watch the Playboy show. And then I started watching it, and I loved them. They're so sweet.
Yeah.
I know.
I feel bad for them, but
Same. They're all better off now.
yes.
Okay.
But also, yeah, they're famous, and thank God they got that out of this, you know?
Yeah. For sure. All right, so we'll transition into the docu-series, and I can't remember if it's on, I think it's on Netflix, Keep Sweet, Pray and Obey, and this is about this all, I don't want to say that it started with, but his father, Rulon Jeffs, was the president of the Fundamentalist Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and it was reported that at the time of Rulon's death, he was 92 years old. He had 65 wives and 65 children. But it said other sources indicated that he may have been survived by 60 wives and about 60 children, including 33 sons. So that means that his 33 sons have to be wifed up somewhere.
And they all probably have at least 5 kids each, right? I mean, I would think because...
I mean... Yeah, it sounds like some wives, I mean, not every wife had a kid, I'm sure. So, you know, multiple children within.
I mean, I think that's the purpose.
Oh, I agree with you, but who knows what the ratio is, you know, number of children to wives, whatever. So Warren Jeffs took over as prophet of the polygamous cult within the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Following Rulon's death, Jeff told the high-ranking officials, I won't say much, but I will say this, hands off my father's wives. When addressing his father's widows, he said, you women will live as if father is still alive and in the next room. Within a week...
Wait, who's father? Father is Warren Jeffs?
Rulon was Warren Jeffs' father. So when he died, Warren said, hands off my dad's wives, whatever. Within a week, he had married all but 2 of his father's wives.
Wait, okay, hold on. Let me back up on this because that was fast. Okay, so you're saying that Rulon was the dad and Warren Jeffs was the son, and then Rulon had all these wives. How many?
Between 60 and 65,
And then when he died, Warren Jeffs started marrying them?
Yes.
What
Even
the
though it was
hell?
like his father strictly said to lay off his
Did
wives.
he also marry his
His
mother?
Good
Yeah.
question.
Surely not.
That is weird.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
And
think
why did the women think that
they have
it was
to.
okay to marry? Wait, they had to marry his son?
They don't have an option. That's the whole point of this. Is like they were like
Because the men were ruling, I guess?
Yeah.
They were. And that's why it was called Keep Sweet, Pray, and Obey. So it was obey
what we say. The men.
Yeah,
basically.
obey the men in your lives. And there were they weren't making money. They didn't have jobs. I mean, they were, homemakers, whatever. And they were raising, plethoras of children and cohabitating, with 3 other wives within, the polygamous marriage, that sort of thing. All with one goal. And the goal was to build and live and exist in this place that they called Zion.
Okay.
And Zion was this ranch in Texas that was almost 1,700 acres.
Well, hold up. Before they got to Texas, they took over. They got kicked out of the Mormon community in Utah. And
Why?
Because his Rulon's practices were different from the regular, like, Mormon LDS, I guess.
Right, which means that
they
we'll
were
get into that, why they're a cult.
And that was part of it, because Mormonism isn't all about polygamy and that
I think
sort of
that
thing.
at that time in the area they were in Utah, they were evolving their lifestyles of the teachings and practices that they were following, and that the father didn't want that and wanted to stay with the polygamous lifestyle.
Gotcha.
So they moved south into southern Utah and developed this huge community and took over basically this entire town there. And then that's when they were kind of getting into trouble there with stuff that they
were kind of getting run out once the communities that they were living in kind of figured out what was going on and that sort of thing. And they were frowning upon it. And, just people were starting to ask questions. And I can't remember.
So they secretly purchased all this property in Texas that they're calling Zion.
Where in Texas?
I don't know exactly where.
Was it like near like Dallas, or like was it just like out in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
They started funneling all this money and all these resources, and he started leaving and traveling all the time, and they figured out it was to this place in Texas he was calling Zion, where they were actually building this community there.
It was supposed to be a self-sustaining community, an orchard filled with trees, apple trees, peaches, pears, and a massive temple and housing for all of the families.
So, first of all, I love that these cults, they're all so original with his name of Zion for his town or whatever it's going to be. I'm like, okay, couldn't you come up with something that wasn't in the Bible? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, they name their kids, they're all like Abraham and like John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt.
Well, in the documentary, some of the children got out, and there were ones that left like at different times or whatever, and there were people that like also were like in love, but they weren't like a marriage match, and so they couldn't be together, and one would run away, the other one was supposed to run away. Sometimes they came back, and it was just really sad to kind of know what these, especially women went through, because they would be matched with these men at like 13, 14 years old. And, as soon as they got their period, they were expected to marry and breed. And it was like, it was wild.
So so my question is, were they still recruiting through the outside world, or were they just like reproducing?
I think it was mostly reproducing within the community that was already there.
Like incestuous kind of.
Yeah, and like he also at some point got pissed off at some of the wives that were being not like defiant, but like he was mad at how things were unraveling, and maybe mad at some of his brothers too, and he switched up their marriages and like changed who the wives were married to these other old men.
Yes. Like his father's like close in age folks and stuff like that.
Wow.
It was nuts. So, needless to say, in the docuseries, the government eventually gets involved, and there was,
there's a really crazy story. It's something involved like him getting pulled over after leaving like a casino or something like that, where like he's like partaking in this crazy lifestyle outside of...
Oh, yeah, like of course. He's like going out and doing that crazy stuff, but everybody else is not allowed to.
Yes, doing the things that
taking all the other people's money.
100%. And doing things that he's not supposed to be doing and that sort of thing.
Well, no, he's allowed to do it.
Well, right.
But they're not.
Right.
Yeah.
But needless to say, the government gets involved, and they had, masses of people coming in to take these children.
So do you think he was buying drugs or anything like that may have been put him on the radar, or like gambling a lot of money, or not paying taxes?
I think maybe part of it started when they were in Texas or trying to move the community to Texas, and people in Texas were questioning what was happening, like the fishiness of the community that was being built and what was really going on.
Yeah.
But I don't 100% know that. But it says that he was arrested for harboring, and his brother was arrested for harboring a fugitive, because at that point Jeffs was a fugitive, and there was a traffic stop that said he had $142,000 in cash and $7,000 in prepaid debit cards, and so he was like kind of on the run for a few years.
How did he get all this cash? That's crazy to me. I guess he was getting it from all the other people and he wasn't spending it.
Yeah, like somehow they had businesses.
Okay. Gotcha. So did he end up going to jail? Is he in jail?
Yes, he's serving a life sentence.
So and he was raping
in
children
Palestine,
and things
Texas.
like that?
Yeah, he ended up getting convicted for a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. But it is believed that he still runs this FLDS and exercises influence on its members from prison.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. So moving along to the next loser in this cult series. We're going to talk about Nexium. So in 1998, Keith Raniere and Nancy Saltzman, a former psychiatric nurse, founded Nexium as a purported self-help organization near Albany, New York. It was a corporation that sold human potential
Shout out New York.
development. It sold human potential.
I don't know if that's good.
Development.
I know. No, it's just.
I mean, we're not from Albany, at least.
No, we're not. And self-help materials, and devolved into personality cults of its founder, Keith Raniere. So it was basically started, and this is my opinion, but I think I'm pretty right, as a multi-level marketing scheme. And so it was supposed to be almost like this executive professionalism,
like leadership
and
development type of thing. Yeah.
And they would bring folks in for these classes, and it sort of evolved into
and then
something.
you had to it's kind of like you had to continue paying more and more to get to the
paying,
levels.
and right, you had to continue leading workshops and these classes.
It's like kind of like a multi-level marketing for but for like leadership development.
Right. But they conducted these intensive classes for about 12 hours a day for 16 days straight, and they once cited the price was $7,500. And then most of the time, when you have these people start, you're not stopping. You for whatever reason experience some sort of like enlightenment situation. You're like, oh my God, this is working. Like, I need to stick with this. And
can you pause right there? Because I want to say something.
Yeah.
I've always just wondered. I think about this stuff, and we'll get into like why cults happen and what they are and stuff like that in a minute. But like, how can somebody? I don't think I've ever met anybody that I would just like follow and blindly and just be like, okay, and like do everything. I kind of want to be that way, but I don't want to be a cult leader, but I want to be somebody that's like charismatic and like people like to be around me, but I'm just not. Well, why? How? I don't understand. How do these people get these characteristics to lead these groups and to like think about it? And they are obviously extremely smart and just don't have any morals,
right,
and are just like they don't care about other people.
And who knows if like
They're
started
out themselves, basically,
that way, like mentally for some of these cult leaders or whatever. But it's just like the success and the love that the followers or the class participants in the beginning show. It just like takes off from there into
like
something that it wasn't ever
ego.
Meant to be. Yeah, 100%. And it said the classes were divided into modules, and in one module, not necessarily number one, but in a module, it was called relationship sourcings, where students were instructed to explore the benefits that they would receive in the event of a partner's sudden death. That's weird.
Oh wait, they would get a partner, like if they were married or like in a
in a relation. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's weird
Wait,
to
so-
me. As professional development training,
So essentially they're getting
life insurance money.
interesting.
Right.
And they were getting trained on how to get that?
I mean, it went
To
from
explore the benefit.
it went from 0 to 100 quickly, and it said,
I mean, those are kind of things we should have talked about in our episode that dropped last week or today, technically.
"What? How not to?"
Like what things do you need to know in your 30s, like how to collect
Have
insurance money.
life
I guess, like,
insurance.
yeah, life insurance, but like, yeah, that's wild.
So there ended up being, it evolved from that into a sex cult at some point, and
Well, so what was his name?
Keith Raniere.
Keith Raniere decided. I remember because Allison Mack, Alex Mack,
Yeah,
which she was in. What show was she in?
Smallville,
and her name was Alex Mack in that, wasn't she? And so she somehow got recruited, and then did you watch that documentary or whatever? Or whatever it was, and so she one day I believe. Like, they were having a therapy session and he was going to like massage her or something like that. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Isn't that how
I
this
don't
happened?
even think it was him. I think that was the woman.
No, it was a man, or they had like somebody come in there and
The woman's the one that gave them the tattoos or whatever.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, because they started that whole other
Like the
part of
women's group.
That was after,
the women's
yeah.
group. That was after a while, though.
But the first time I think that she realized like that everything started happening was when
But
she got that.
they
It wasn't
definitely-
Allison. It wasn't Alex Mack.
Alex.
It was the other girl that did the documentary or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
Well, is a lot to it, but I think it started one way and then it very quickly went in like a whole different direction. But said an estimated 18,000 people enrolled in the group's workshops, including its executive success program. That's the one I was thinking of first. And most participants only took a few classes, but some members became ardent followers of Mr. Raniere, calling him Vanguard. And
That's what it was his name.
Yeah, and regarding him as the most ethical man in the world. And by 2017, several former members had asked New York State authorities to investigate NXIVM. The complaints focused on a secretive group within the organization called the Vow.
That's what it
That's
is.
the name of the documentary.
Yes.
And it says, or DOS, an acronym for the Latin phrase that roughly translate to Lord Master of the Obedient Female Companions. And the members were branded, which is the tattoo you're talking about, Gerri.
What did that tattoo look like? I forgot.
It was letters.
But wasn't it like upside down his name or something?
Yes, when you turned it the other way, because I think in the documentary that she said she had never like paid attention to how it really,
Yeah.
what it really was, and then she figured out she was like branded with him for her life.
They were also assigned to have sex with him. The celebrity affiliations. Alex Max, like you just talked about. Then Kristen Kriuk, or I don't know what her name, how you say her last name, but she was also in Smallville. She was the brown-haired actress in Smallville. Mm-hmm. And Claire Bronfman, who's a Seagram's heiress, like Seagram's.
That was the girl that the blonde.
The
girl
ginger ale? That's Seagram's?
Well, they're
Or
like
Seagram's
liquor
cocktails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Jerry just loves ginger ale. Damn, girl.
Yes, I think they do ginger
she
ale.
asked me earlier when we were at Trader Joe's, she said, do they have individual non-alcoholic drinks here? And I was like, yeah. So I took her to the damn juice aisle or whatever. And she was like, they don't have a Coke? I'm like, no.
No, it's Trader Joe's.
So
Sorry.
we come, and she was like, I really just wish I had a ginger ale. I said, well, Cramps is going to have Diet Mountain Dew, but that's about it.
I don't even have any Diet Mountain Dew right now. I know. It's crazy.
Okay, the last person was Catherine Oxenberg, who was a Dynasty actress, and her daughter was the one who was deeply involved in it that they were trying to rescue.
Yes.
I can't remember the daughter's name. I want to say it starts with an A, something like that. But overall...
And that was the girl that they really told her story.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because they tried to save her and they were trying to communicate with her, and it was one of those things where when, you got deep enough into it, I mean... They
would cut off
they took your
everything,
cell phone.
yeah.
You were not supposed to be on social media in any capacity, and it was really just like isolating these people.
Okay, sorry to
ahead.
interrupt. I looked up the branding. So the way that they explained it was like that I remember. It was something about like this mountain and the sun and everything. Mm-hmm. But then when you turned it sideways, what it is a giant K for
Yes.
Keith. And then the little part on the inside of it is then an upside down capital R for his last name.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. And it's obvious when you see it, like when they explained it, they were like, oh, we had his initials on us. I was like, oh my God, it's so obvious now.
But
that
then when
they showed it, but before it
when
was
they were explaining what it was to them, what they were told it was, it also looks like
exactly.
that.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
like you don't know, and then you turn it and you're like, wow, that's crazy. Well, so this kind of reminds me. So the girl what was her name that they're trying to find that was in the documentary series?
Oxenberg's daughter.
Yeah, so she was saying she was getting massage or something, and he was like trying to like work out whatever, and it reminded me of the guy that like molested all the gymnasts.
Yeah,
that would like he'd be like, oh, I need to fix this is gonna fix your
Larry
problem,
Nassar,
and he would like
yeah.
stick his hand in their vagina or something. Yeah,
And they would do it in front of their parents.
yeah.
Like in the same room, but
Yeah.
like they
Yeah.
would be facing a different way, and then the girls like don't really know like if that's wrong or not.
That's what that reminded. I don't know.
I
Why.
swear I just saw something about how he just got fucked up in jail.
Maybe.
He probably
I mean,
will.
he
I'm
deserves
sure.
it,
Yeah.
but those victim statements were some of the most intense moments in a courtroom I've
Oh my
ever
gosh,
seen.
I know.
It was wild. So let me wrap up NXIVM just real quick. And y'all, there is so much more to all of these stories. Go watch the docuseries. But Rainier and 5 women linked to NXIVM, including Nancy Saltzman, that Claire Bronfman, Seagram's lady, and then Alex Mack were charged with racketeering conspiracy involving a raft of crimes, including identity theft, extortion, forced labor, sex trafficking, money laundering, wire fraud, and obstruction of justice.
Wow.
So they definitely started off being like, let's be awesome executive professionals and to let's steal some money and force people to have sex with us.
Yep.
Power went to their heads.
Apparently so.
Yeah, Larry Nassar just got stabbed in jail 2 weeks ago after a comment he made watching Wimbledon.
Oh. Is he dead?
I don't think so.
My thing is, when you're in jail,
Why are
these
you
people
watching
that are in
TV?
jail and they're going to stab somebody, they know where to stab you to kill you. So did they do it just to mess with him? Just to be like, to put him in pain? To like torture him? Or like, because if they want to kill you, they're going to kill you.
Oh, for sure.
You're going to be dead.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
how I feel.
No, I mean, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I mean,
He
who
was
knows?
stabbed in the back and the chest.
Yikes. That's crazy.
I know.
The other big one that I want to talk about is this Mommy Doomsday podcast. And there's a show. Have you ever seen it?
I have not.
So it is about, have you seen it or listened to the podcast?
Refresh my memory because I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember whether I watched it.
I forgot her name, and I'll tell you in a minute, but there's a lady who was like a beauty queen. She was really pretty. She married this guy, whatever, ends up having some kids, like from 2 different people, I think, and then gets involved with this guy from the Latter-day Saints, like the Mormon community, and he is like essentially starting a cult, I guess, or he's got like a cult going kind of thing.
Oh,
And then she kills
yes,
her kids. She
Lori
said there's
Vallow.
Lori, yeah, Vallow, yeah. So she kills the 2 kids. It's like JJ or JJ, and I forgot the little girl's name. Mm-hmm. And I feel bad not knowing their names, but this is kind of off the cuff. But yeah. So but they were like talking about how people were zombies. Did you listen?
Yes, so they went on a murder spree and basically killed multiple family
But they
members.
didn't actually physically. Maybe they did, but I don't know if they physically killed everybody. But they facilitated the murders. So like maybe her brother, I think it was her brother or a cousin or somebody like that who was following her would do a murder, like killed her ex-husband for her. But
Yes.
she really kind of manipulated him into doing it.
But then they also killed somebody else.
Yes.
That was an adult.
She was convicted in May of conspiracy to murder Tammy Daybell, the late wife of Vallow's current husband. So her current husband's ex-wife. and then JJ and Tylee.
Yeah, but there were
There were
several
some-
other people
yes.
that got murdered by somebody else, but they kind of facilitated it. So I don't know if that's like she'll
Yes.
actually get murder, but she'll probably get some type of, I don't know if they're going to be able to have proof or whatnot, but her ex-husband, I forgot his name. You know who I'm talking
Chad.
about?
Yeah.
No,
No.
Chad is
No,
her,
Chad's
the
the-
guy that did it with her, like killed her kids with her. Like buried them in the ground, like in Texas or wherever they were.
Oh, that was her fifth husband.
It was out in
Yeah.
Idaho.
Damn.
I
And,
think
like,
it
all-
was in like Idaho or something.
Maybe it was somewhere out in the middle of nowhere, like the country. But she also has a living son that was living like in California, I think, at the time. And he was like, I don't know what's going on, like kind of like separated. But okay, so going back to this like whole cult thing, this Chad guy, he wrote a bunch of books and then he would say stuff. He was using religion to like get people to follow him. And then he was kind of like twisting it to say like people were zombies. And he was like, basically they were just telling other people, this person's a zombie, which means that they don't like them anymore, essentially. And that person, any zombie, anytime anybody turns into a zombie, they can kill them and God will allow it. And it's not against the law in their minds. So they would just like kill people, just be like, oh, that person's a zombie now. And so they were like, oh, our kids are zombies. And they killed them.
That's crazy. It says she faces separate charges in Arizona in connection with the death of her fourth husband, Charles Vallow, as well as conspiring to kill her ex-nephew-in-law, Brandon Boudreaux.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, they killed her ex-husband. He died.
So she had a mental breakdown.
Well, so I don't know because she seemed normal and happy. If you listen to the podcast, it was such a good podcast. And I think, there's a TV, I don't know what it's on, if it's on Netflix or whatnot, but
What was the podcast called? Do you
Mommy
know?
Doomsday. You need
Okay.
to, it's so good. But she was like beauty queen. Like she was so pretty. Like everybody loved her. She did all these things. She was a great mom, all these things, she found a great husband. Then all of a sudden she gets hooked up with this Chad Daybell guy. And like, she's not even divorced from her husband. And then they like moved to Hawaii or somewhere like that.
Yeah, they like escaped to Hawaii and basically like her kids were missing.
Yeah.
And they just were like,
They're like the
Peace.
press were down there, and they were like,
Yeah.
where are your kids?" And they were just like, "What? What are you talking about? They're with their aunt or some lie." And they would try to find the people that they say that they were with, and they were like, "They aren't here." The grandparents were like the ones that really kind of dug into it and got the police involved. And it's such a sad story
That
because
is
these grandparents
wild.
wanted so bad to like, and I believe the youngest little boy, I think he might have had autism.
JJ had autism, yes.
Yeah.
And JJ was actually her nephew's son.
Right. Yes. They
Oh.
adopted him.
And she and her ex-husband adopted him. And then they got divorced after that because she started being crazy.
Yeah. Okay. So all this being said, all these we've got all this cult stuff, and I just want to know what do you guys think? Like, what is a cult? We're going to talk about that. What do y'all think a cult is? If I were to ask you and you didn't have Google or whatnot, what would your definition of a cult be?
I would say that it is an organization that even though you participate in, you in a way have no choice, I guess, because maybe you don't have the financial resources, you don't have the mental stability to get out, or you just have no other family, no other, familial resources.
Okay.
And you
So
have,
how do you get into it?
I mean, I think oftentimes it starts innocently and then you are mentally broken down, financially either cut off or, reliant on this group of people or person. And it's all you have left.
Yeah. Gerri, what do you think it is?
Yeah, I agree with most of that. I think people get sucked into this of wanting to be a part of something and feel like they belong somewhere. Like maybe they're at this low point in life where they've gone through some things and they are feeling maybe lonely, and that they don't have this group to fit in with.
Yeah.
And somehow they find this like organization, they get pulled in, and they feel like they've found like this group of people that understand them in a way, or like make them feel
welcome.
Or like special. Welcome. Yeah. And then they pour all their life into it, you know, and then they get cut off from all their family, all their friends, and they start putting their resources into it. And maybe they don't even really have a lot of resources outside of it. So it's like their lifeline.
Yeah.
And
so they have nowhere to go.
Yeah. They just get sucked in. I mean, not all cults have like a murderous undertone, you know, like, but a lot of them do. The whole point of it is control. And that the idea is really that they want to control and take over. Yes. And have all of their ideologies.
In a very manipulative way.
Have their ideologies like pushed onto everybody else. And that they are like the majority of what the world would be, basically.
Right. So when I did a little bit of research, not a lot, like to figure out like what the internets of the world says. Okay, so a cult is a system of religious veneration, and I don't know if that's how you say that. Veneration, which I Googled that too because I was like, I don't know what that means. I'm not that smart. I don't know the words of the world. Okay, I know like fifth grade reading level.
You're not gonna win a spelling bee.
No, I might win the spelling bee. I'm good at that. If you told me to spell veneration, I would be able to spell it, but I can't tell you what the definition is. If I was like, please give me that in a sentence, I'd be like, I have no idea what that means. Okay, but the veneration or I'm assuming that's what it is. The act of honoring a saint is essentially what that is. So a system of religious veneration and devotion directed towards a particular figure or object. And it is a relatively small group of people having religious beliefs or practices regarded by others as strange or sinister. Okay, so what is the difference between in a cult and a religion or a church?
Are you asking?
No, well, I'm asking, but I'm going to tell you some thoughts. But I want to know, like, what you think it is. Like, do you, like, okay, so I'll just start talking and you guys chime in whenever you feel.
Well, one has become a legal way to funnel money without taxes.
Yes, agreed.
Well, and not only that, I think when it comes down to following specific like rules, processes, or ideologies, I mean, every religion is a cult.
Essentially, yeah. Well, sort of. Okay, so yes and no. And so I actually found this, what's the guy's name? Oh my God. What's the guy that has the podcast? Joe Rogan. I found a Joe Rogan thing about cults today because I was like, oh my gosh.
He's one to talk.
And so I started listening to it, and it was actually very interesting. And I didn't get to finish it, but like y'all should look it up. I think it's something similar to this, like what's the difference between a cult and a religion?
Gerri's like, I ain't fucking with Joe Rogan.
I'm not either. How his COVID treatment went with his horse tranquilizer.
Oh, what? I don't ever listen to him. Everybody's like, you should listen to Joe Rogan. I'm like, no. I don't know. I don't listen to him. But like, I did find that, and I thought it was interesting. Because the guy that was on there he basically said, he was like, every cult's a religion. Catholicism is religion. All these things are, hold on. Back up. Every religion is a cult. Yeah. And the guy was like, well, I disagree with that. And I thought it was very interesting. Their little conversation. So anyways, okay, so a cult uses the followers' beliefs to extract things from them. Okay?
Yes.
And a cult is a social movement. It's not like, it's essentially, it boils down to time. Okay? Anyone can create a new religion in the United States and appeal to the government for new religion status and get protections and recognition from the U.S. government. So technically, anyone can have like their cult and call it a religion. So like Scientology or whatnot. Like Mormonism, people used to think was a cult, things like that. Okay, so both religion and religions or churches or whatever and cults, they have things in common. So a charismatic leader. These people often follow a leader who claims divine or special access to different models of knowledge and revelations. Many are martyred. Many of these people are martyred. Like, so, the guy from the not the Book of Mormon. I forgot his name. The guy from the Mormon religion who like started it. He was lynched, I think. And then
What was his name?
what was the other guy?
I'm trying to think of it. It's
The
one of those
Brigham
generic-
Young took over after the other guy.
like John Smith.
It
Joseph
was like
Smith.
it was
It was
Joseph
Joseph
Smith. It was like
Smith.
John. Yeah. So many are martyred, and a lot of times they have these religions and cults have in common end days. So both of them are
Yes.
like, oh, we're gonna go to a better place, and there's gonna end of the world's coming. Jesus is gonna come back. There's gonna be a second coming or whatnot. So they like a lot of the research I did said that like time is what differentiates a cult from a religion because it takes time for a movement, for like one of these social movements to establish itself as a legit part of a religious landscape.
That makes sense.
And this is from
because they don't normally last for long.
Yeah, I'm reading this stuff from like Penn Today.
Because that could also like feed into the urgency of its ramp up, of people wanting
Yes.
to participate.
Yeah.
Because they feel like there's this impending.
Well, and I've
thing.
always thought about this, and I hate to say this, but like, because I know that Christianity is like a big deal, and like, I grew up as a Catholic in Catholic church and things like that, and I've gone to other churches. I've actually been to Mormon churches with friends that were Mormon when I was younger. My parents were very good about like letting me go like experience other things. Well, Jesus, in my opinion, is kind of a cult leader. Like, he was martyred.
I did not know that was coming.
I know, but like if you think about it, but I don't necessarily but okay. So if you dig into it, most of these cult leaders are doing something like I'll say evil. I guess they're doing something that's like against the law or like not good. So like things that people think are devious. So they're having sex with children.
Yeah.
And from what we know, Jesus wasn't doing any of that stuff. So
Right.
that's a differentiator, right?
Oh, for sure.
So thank God.
What about that Virgin Mary?
I mean,
though?
but
Did you hear her?
What'd she say?
So you better say it again.
Say it again.
I said, what about that Virgin Mary though?
Well, this is the truth, and look, I'm not gonna
Question mark still.
I'm not gonna say anything about that because I might go to HEL double hockey sticks.
That's if you believe there is one.
Okay, well, that's true. Okay, so a cult is a term used to demonize a movement that is controversial, and it's a threat to mainstream society. Okay. And I know Sarah is like, won't even be like ready to be done. And she is like already corked up the wine. She's drank her drink and she's
got her vape in her hand,
feet,
ready
to walk out of the door.
I'm not ready to walk
You
out.
do this
I was
every
just
time.
Getting comfortable.
Okay. You don't look comfortable to me. You look
I
like you're
am.
about to walk out. So
Gotta go.
So cults. Okay. So first of all, do y'all think based on so hold on, cults will rush you into joining.
Right.
They dismiss any questions that people have about like their inner works or whatever, and they may tell you like, hey, go look at these documents and go do these
review these videos.
these videos.
Yeah.
And then when you get done with those videos, you're more confused and you forgot what your questions were, and you're like, and it told you not to ask any questions.
Like shiny ball syndrome.
Yeah, it's like indoctrinated.
Like, go look at this
Yes.
while we're doing this.
Yes,
over
like
here.
for babies, like
Yeah.
they squeak squeak, like
Yep.
a mobile in your crib. The cult leader is a higher power. A legit religion will have you worshiping a higher source.
Yeah, like a prophet.
Yeah, it's a red flag if the leader claims to be the only person who can speak for a particular god or holy being. Apparently,
That's what every cult leader does.
exactly. So that's a red flag. Ding ding.
But like, I can't wrap my head around me just meeting somebody and getting brought into this, like, I don't know, group, and just this one person being introduced as like the quote unquote leader, and just being like, oh hell yeah, everything they say is like amazing.
Same.
Like, I'm just following the word of this one person that claims to be this prophet or
Right.
whatever. It's like, why did you get to make that decision?
Exactly.
Well, I don't think that's. I totally understand what you're saying, but I think that's like the whole point is that you're preying on people, or what you're offering is this grandiose thing, whatever. I mean, how in the world do you think that Nexium got all these people to join? They were advertising executive professionalism.
Yeah.
And then it you have this following, and then it turns into something completely different.
Yeah. So cults control rather than guide. Okay. They have people watching to make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do.
Right.
And a lot of times they'll have in these things that they've had, they'll say that, say you're a new member and I've been there for a little bit. You're new, and they're going to put me over there to watch you, to make sure you don't disappear.
Watch me, probably befriend me and get a feel of what my thoughts, feelings are,
and talk to you, get you to tell me things.
Yeah, make me feel comfortable and peel me like an onion and try and figure me out.
Yeah, so that they can find something bad about you, so that they can use it against you.
Exactly. Am I going to be an asset? So that you can't get out.
Yeah.
Or am I going to be an enemy? And if I'm an enemy, what is my deepest, darkest secret that you can hold against me to make me shut up?
Well, my thing is, if you're an enemy, why don't you just get them out ASAP? If you're not going to be against, why do you want to keep them?
I'm sure that they do that with some folks, and maybe the ones that they just find, resourceful in some aspect, whether it be connections or finances, whatever, maybe keep those people around for, a reason.
Yeah. True. Yeah. So essentially they're micromanaging your life.
Yeah.
Right.
So basically what you're telling me is that you're in a cult.
Because at my job. Oh my God. I was thinking about this earlier today. Okay, so this is another thing that I have, but let me say this last thing, and then I'll tell you what my other thoughts about that. They make it extremely hard to trust fellow followers. That's another thing. So they try to make it to where
you can't confide.
It's a one-to-one.
Yes, you can't say anything to anybody, because you don't want to be like, hey, did he do this to you?
Yeah.
And then be like, yeah, he did that to me, and then everybody gangs up on you, and you have a group to get out.
So make you feel only comfortable enough with them.
Yes.
And no one else.
Essentially, our
Leave
jobs.
Lifelines.
Yeah. Essentially, maybe our jobs aren't cults, but kind of, if you think about all this stuff, are people who follow bands, sports, all these things that everybody's got like fish. Everybody has they go follow these people around. It's like Jesus, essentially.
I thought you meant go fish.
Oh.
All these people that are going fishing.
No, these people that go follow fish, the band. Or follow Dave Matthews, or follow Grateful Dead.
Fellow listeners, I know who the band
Taylor
is.
Swift.
Jesus.
The Swifties. Anybody that's listening to our podcast.
Whole entire life, she leaves out Panic just to piss me off.
Hey, guess who we're going to see this weekend?
That's exciting. I don't leave them out to piss you off. Why would I do that?
They're just not top of mind. Just I would not ever name fish in that list. They're not.
Well, only reason I named fish is because we were talking about it earlier, and I was looking at the poster.
And you're wearing
the
t-shirt.
Yeah. So the podcast, though, also people follow podcasts, and Joe Rogan, for instance.
Look at Gerri's sweatshirt.
I know you have the Caller Daddy.
Caller Daddy, shout out Alex
it.
Cooper, Father Cooper.
But yeah, are those if we're people who are Alabama fans?
That's a cult.
Nick Saban, a.k.a. Nick Satan, is... I know he's not Satan, but, I think he's a nice dude, but, I call him that because it's just funny. But that's a cult, right?
But he's also not the only coach that Alabama's ever had. They have still been a cult way before he ever came along.
I mean, talk about the machine. That's a cult.
100%.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well... we won't go there, I guess. I'm a little scared about that.
Why? They got a machine at UAB?
Everywhere.
Oh.
Yeah. I think they got one everywhere.
Interesting.
Yeah, but don't you think that basically our world is kind of
made
cults? Of yes.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
If you think about it.
It's just the severity of the level that your cult
for
becomes.
Sure. I mean, even monopolies with Alabama Power. I mean, it's the only one we got. We don't have a choice.
A monopoly and a cult are a little different.
I know that they're not the same. But I'm just saying.
Well, but so for instance, if we didn't have rules and laws and stuff, and we grew up and weren't told, hey, nobody should rape you, nobody should do these things to you, nobody should touch you before you're, 18 years old, or, probably did, but, that was
With
accident.
consent.
With consent.
Yeah.
No, unconsent. that kind of stuff.
Non-consensual.
What if we didn't have people telling us that these things were not allowed, then we wouldn't know what is allowed, and somebody else could be like, oh, it's okay to do this.
Free-for-all.
Yeah. And so this essentially, somebody one day decided that we're going to come to America and make this place a religious freedom place, but we have rules in place to make sure that other things don't happen. It's just in other countries, technically, they don't do the same thing, and we could call those places, they could be cults. Really, our lives are just a bunch of mini cults. Our friend group is a freaking cult.
It is.
I mean, I don't know who the leader is. We don't really have a leader, and nobody's getting any money. But
sorry, drink.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting, but I also think Jesus is the biggest cult, and he started all the rest of the cults. And that's a really controversial subject. But it
100%.
is.
And I'm not digging in.
Christianity started, all these other cults have spun off of Christianity.
Well, Christianity wasn't the first religion.
Well, of course, but
I concur.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all the same. It's just like that one evolves to be the largest and has the most supporters that blindly support anything that's written in this book that they read.
I just want to understand, where these people, from the Mommy's Doomsday thing, got the zombie part. Who comes up with that? And, who follows that? If somebody was like, they're a zombie, I'm like, have you been watching too much Walking Dead? Because I love that show, but I'm not going to, think it's real life.
But it doesn't just start with that conversation. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
It's got to start somewhere, but it sure as shit ain't that.
But if you were to come to me as we haven't known each other for a million years, but we've known each other longer than a lot of these cult leaders have known the people that they recruit.
Yeah.
And you were to come to me and be like, Emily, these are the things that I think, and I think that people turn to zombies. I'd be like, are you effing kidding me? And I'd probably call your parents and be like, she needs help. I don't know. I'd probably text somebody. I'd probably be like, Brandon, help. I don't know. Somebody, who's been talking to you? What is going on? You know what I mean? Yeah.
I would honestly think it was just this long satirical, act you were putting on for the day for some reason.
Well, I don't think I'm a very gullible person. And I don't think that I have a creative enough mind to come up with some of the shit
I disagree.
that these cult
So
leaders
we come up with your own cult?
I disagree. She
Yeah.
always thinks she's not creative and doesn't have any special talents, and I freaking disagree.
I don't have special talents.
Whatever.
What's my special talent, Gerri? I said it was you did. Well, of course, my own sister hasn't listened to this last week's episode.
I did it.
Or 2 weeks ago. My special talent is
Oh,
talking.
so we had, so
I don't know where.
I asked her if she had any hidden talents.
Yeah.
And mine is that I can blow
Do
bubbles.
I have any?
A hidden talent?
Yeah. I know what yours are, or
What?
were at least.
What?
You used to be able to hold a pin between your shoulder blades.
I can do that.
And put your feet behind your
weird.
head.
I don't know if I can still do that.
That's a skill.
She
not a
got some
talent.
crazy ass scapulas.
I feel like a talent is something that is this repeatable thing that you can put on a show with. Wow, you can. You can legit blow bubbles.
I'm blowing bubbles.
Did you hear the wow?
Last time I tried to do it, my spit wasn't thick enough.
How?
I've been doing that since I was a kid. She's trying.
I don't think I have an actual talent.
I don't. Yeah.
Can you sing?
God, no.
Hell no.
She can't even keep up
She
with the
sounded
words.
good earlier when she was singing John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt.
John Jacob Jinger.
Oh my god.
I cannot sing no, that's bad. That's
You probably can. I think that everyone can sing. They just don't know.
No,
if
You
they
gotta
okay.
sing the right song.
no. My former partner in life was a musician and could sing, had all the musical talents, could play multiple instruments, and one day told me while we were singing in the car that I was tone deaf.
He was jealous.
I don't think that's right. I mean, I love her. She's my sister, but it's her and Brandon are the exact same person singing in the car. They cannot sing on key or
But are they?
at the
Are you
right
trying
time.
to sing? Is that? Are you trying? Or are you just like doing it goofy? Because that's how I feel. I'm not on. I can't do it.
I need you to answer honestly right now.
I cannot sing, so it's not like I'm in the car really trying to put on a
Oh,
performance.
I'm having a damn concert.
But I'm like,
We're gonna practice on the way home.
I'm singing along. Like I'm having a good time singing the song, but
Right.
I'm not like putting on a concert.
Well, that's how I feel too. So like, if somebody was like, if I was in the car singing, I'm not singing like if I were gonna have to like be like a
Exactly.
Beyonce. But like, also, I'm not gonna do that because I know it probably doesn't sound that good, and I'm a little scared. Like,
oh my
you know what I
God.
mean?
Yeah.
So, but I think you have talents. I just don't know if you know what they are, and I don't know. Maybe like, I don't know. You have talents. Your talent is like planning trips. Is that a talent or just
No. All right. We'll wrap it up.
okay? Catch us on Instagram, Sarah. Tell us where to catch us. I mean, I
Well,
guess.
first we're gonna thank Gerri for joining us. Thank you. I know you were
Yes,
a little
you're
nervous, but you
welcome.
did a great job.
You did so good.
Thank
You're just
you.
like your mom.
Proud
you
of
look
you.
just like her. So does Sarah, but you look really a lot like her.
You think?
And you talk. I feel like you talk like her.
I get told I look like my dad a lot.
Oh, I've never met your dad, so I don't know.
She has Charles nose
Yes.
and his
Face.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
feel
that
like
whole
when I
thing,
looked at
guess.
you earlier tonight, I was like, you look just like your mom. But maybe.
But if you put all three of us together, I
Yeah.
take the cake.
Yeah.
Even I used one of the old filters on TikTok the other day, and I was like, "Oh shit, this is Dawn."
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Anyways, that was our Cole episode. We hope you liked it. It was kind of chaotic, but whatever. It's how we roll. Thanks, Gerri, for being here. You can find us on Instagram at ThickAF Podcast. Send us an email at thickafpodcast@gmail.com. See you next week.
Find us on YouTube. Bye. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I have to go.
I don't know why it's so good.
Oh my God.